Okay, so now I'm curious. Based on the title to this story, something's the matter with Henry. But what is it? Since the very first season, Henry has been plagued by problem after problem. Not to mention Thomas and the Magic Railroad depicted him with an issue too. Let's see what he has to say for himself this time.
"What's the matter with you, Henry?" Thomas asked. "My boiler's grumbling." "Maybe it's grumbling at you," teased Thomas. "That's not funny," hissed Henry. "You just don't care." But Emily saw that Henry was leaving a puddle of water behind.
Boiler grumbles, huh? I feel like that shouldn't be an issue now. What was the point of going to crew? Henry has had more cosmetic touch-ups than any other engine on Sodor. The reason must be something else. Something not so complicated. And while I can see where Henry's coming from, at least Thomas wasn't calling him fat this time.
He was leaving water everywhere as he chuffed towards the coaling plant. When Emily saw this, she was more worried than ever.
Well, it seems there's some engine who cares. Hey, one green tender engine has to look out for another, am I right? This didn't seem to click with Thomas and Percy, though. Both of them, and Henry, were headed to the coaling plant, but the two tankies got there way before him.
By the time Thomas and Percy reached the coaling plant, they had a naughty plan. "Please, sir," said Thomas, "Henry wants to take more freight cars. He is bigger." The yard manager agreed. Meanwhile, Emily was talking to Sir Topham Hatt.
Really, guys? Henry had already told you two knuckle buffers he wasn't feeling well. What are you, blind? I know I'm not, because when Henry was going to the coaling plant, the end of the set is visible. I'm glad at least Emily's trying to do something constructive. She ended up hearing from Top Hat that it might be leaky tubes. But Henry didn't know that.
By the time Henry reached the coaling plant, Thomas and Percy had already left. "Why did Thomas and Percy leave me so many freight cars?" moaned Henry. "They know I'm not feeling well." "We'll still have to take them," said his driver.
There it is again. When Henry pulls up to the trucks, the end of the set is visible. What's going on? To Henry's dismay, he was forced to pull the lot of trucks Percy and Thomas left behind. That's really thoughtful. Not. Nothing's worse than knowing you probably won't complete the job even if the effort is made.
"You can do it, Henry," encouraged his driver. But it was no use. Henry ground to a halt. Just then, Emily arrived. "Are you all right, Henry?" "No."
Yeah, I think that was rather obvious, Emily. But hey, the fact that she's even bothering to give Henry attention is more than he's gotten so far today. So without further delay, Emily rearranged herself and got ready to get Henry home. I still can't get over the whole edge of the set crap in the back, though.
"Thank you, Emily." Emily and Henry puffed into the docks.
Atta girl, way to go, Emily. Meanwhile, Henry's probably looking at Thomas and Percy thinking, yeah, believe me now? However, while Thomas and Percy both apologized, they also claimed they didn't think he was really sick. Right, just like how I could say I didn't think you two could be any more stupid. Thankfully, Henry was mended and was back to doing his normal routine.
"You're looking so much better," said Emily. "Well, they mended my tubes, but they didn't even look at my brakes, my gauges, my squeaky wheels." Emily smiled. "All in good time, Henry." Poor Henry.
Huh? So now he just has all-around problems? I don't know, that kind of makes him look like a lemon. Except he's not a car. This episode is a mix of good and bad. The things that seem silly to revisit is making Henry ill. He's had enough issues in past seasons. It would be nice to see Henry be involved with something else other than mechanical issues or flying kipper disasters. And the fact that Thomas and Percy didn't think he was sick is pretty silly. I quite honestly don't know what's worse. Thomas being mean to Henry in Season 1, or just being plain oblivious in this story. Yet what was enjoyable to see was Emily coming to the rescue and actually paying attention to what was going on. For being a newbie to the island, she's definitely got a keen eye for noticing things. Locations featured here looked good for the most part. Tidmouth Sheds, Wellsworth Station, the coaling plant, and the lighthouse were shown. What I couldn't grasp, though, was how the film crew didn't move the camera lens a little over, so that it didn't show the end of the set. It was spotted a bunch of times. I'm all for wider aspect ratios, but I'd rather have it cropped if that keeps happening. Lastly, the music is alright. While Welk and Hartshorn have no signature cue for Henry, Emily's was heard a couple times for the scene she was in. Next episode is James and the Queen of Sodor. Thanks for watching.